We are back. Two more Republicans are coming clean about voter suppression tactics in the state of Florida. Apparently, this is exactly what the Republicans feared. Republicans cut early voting hours. As a result, some people reported waiting 6 or 7 hours to cast a ballot. Now the Palm Beach Post reports the Republicans were hoping these folks would just go home and just basically stay away. Republican consultant Wayne Birch says he knew targeting Democrats was the goal. Birch said, quote, in 2008, when we started seeing the increase of turnout and the turnout operations that the Democrats were doing in early voting, it certainly sent a chill down our spines. Birch tells us tonight that they weren't targeting any specific block of Democratic voters. Another Republican consultant says organizers in Florida were intent on beating back Democratic turnout in early voting after 2008. On the night of the election, Florida's own former governor, Charlie Crist, accused Republicans of trying to block the vote.
I think the reality here is that you have people who are trying to suppress the vote in Florida and across the country. And the reason is they feel like they have to rig the game in order to win the game.
In fact, if you want to rig the game, these long voting lines are just a smaller part of a much bigger strategy. Here's the voter suppression checklist. First, issue voter purge lists. Well, Florida tried it. The Department of Justice stepped in. Second, shorten the deadline for voter registration. Well, Florida tried that too, and a federal judge overturned the restriction. And third, cut back early voting times to scare voters away from the polls. Republicans in states like Pennsylvania, Ohio tried similar suppression tactics. Civil rights groups now want the Justice Department to investigate. We're told there's no investigation so far. We ask why not. The Republican strategies didn't work this time, but believe me, folks, there's evidence that there's always going to be another election, and they're going to be right back at it. Joining us tonight, Ohio State Senator Nina Turner. Nina, good to have you with us tonight. You know, this really is proof positive. This is the smoking gun, an actuality of exactly what they were up to. What's the game plan to defeat it?
Absolutely, Ed, and the voting advocates across this country knew this. You know, I'm having a grandma moment right now, and grandma used to say you can put truth in the river 5 days after lie, but truth gonna catch up. Well, truth certainly has caught up with the Republicans tonight. The game plan is this, Ed, and I agree with you. The feds need to step in. They have further proven in Florida why we do need Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act to stay intact here, and the fact that the Supreme Court is going to take that up. Progressives all across this country should be outraged at the efforts of the GOP to try to suppress the vote. And the only party that is standing up for voting rights in this country are the Democrats. And we need some Republicans to come on to the righteous side and stand up to their colleagues who are using their political clout to suppress the vote.
Well, what about that? I mean, couldn't the Democrats start introducing a bunch of laws on a state level in all of these states across the country that would be anti-voter suppression laws and force the Republicans to legislatively take a stand on it?
Absolutely, Ed. We should definitely do that and continue to unite with the voting advocates groups. We are not going to sit idly by and let them to continue to push this kind of stuff. And Ed, a number one lesson that we should learn, that what happened in 2010 cannot happen in 2014. We have midterm elections in Congress, but we also have general assemblies and governor's mansions across this state where folks have to re-up. They have to re-up to the voters, and we need to make sure that every voter understands very clearly that folks who try to suppress the vote should not be in office. It is a maelstrom of foolishness, and the people cannot allow this to stand. These folks need to be voted out of office, Ed.
Well, they do, which brings me to the next question. Are you going to run for Secretary of State in the state of Ohio?
Well, Ed, you know I am seriously considering that, and I plan to make an announcement in January. The folks of this state need a Secretary of State and not a Secretary of Suppression, and Ohio is ground zero, as we found out in 2012. And I am calling on not just the Justice Department, but also all of those on the federal level. We need their help on state levels to make sure that folks' votes are not suppressed. And Ed, you're absolutely right. There is an election every single year. And when I say it takes teamwork to make the dream work, I'm talking about the team of elected officials on local, state, and federal levels. We make the whole, and the Republicans have proven that if they cannot win the White House, they will try to steal and suppress the vote on the state level, but we're not going to let it stand, Ed. We're going to continue to fight.
State Senator Nina Turner from Ohio, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks so much. Coming up.